Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Laqwanda's Heart. I am Laqwanda and I just wanted to come on and just chat with you guys about some stuff. So, or you all about some stuff. So, I was on my Facebook timeline, just, scrolling like we always do, and I started noticing a pattern with all these posts because I follow quite a few women, or I'm friends with quite a few women, and I kept seeing the words husband, prayer for a husband. I can't wait till my husband gets here. Just repeatedly over and over. And when I didn't see that, I saw posts about wanting to be in a relationship and posts about praying to become a good wife so that you can be in this relationship. And I had to stop because what came in my mind was, dang, how to get a man is is big business. Like, and I want to give this disclosure. Like, I was super into buying all the right books by all these popular um, men who are on Instagram and Facebook, and who sell books and give relationship advice. I was hardcore into that in 2015, I believe, and I was like, yeah, I need to know all this stuff. And then I went on my emotional detox. And for those who are new, my emotional detox is when I took a year off from dating. No datings, no relationships, just focused on myself. And I wrote about it for a whole year. And it was called the Emotional Detox Life. And so what I sat back and thought, I was like, dang, these men are making a hell of a lot of money off the singleness of black women. And I was like, why is this big business? And I get it. I get it. I get that we want partners and we want to be connected and we want to share our lives with someone. It's human nature to want that connection. And it's human nature to want. Oh, I'm looking down at the computer, not at the camera. It's human nature to want to be with someone in that lasting relationship. But it seems like the singleness of particularly black women um is big business. And the leaders of the pack in this big business are black men. Now, I'm not saying anybody's name because I don't want to end up on anybody's video. But has anyone noticed that when it comes to relationship advice, that one the larger voices in the arena and field are black men, and what that's geared towards us are black men, and they typically don't talk to black men. They specifically talk to black women on what the black woman needs to do to draw in a man, or what the black woman needs to look out to avoid the wrong type of man. But I don't hear these men actually talk to their counterparts about being responsible with the hearts of the women that they date or that they're looking to date. You don't hear those conversations. And it's easy as to why you don't hear those conversations because there's no money in it for them. There is not feasible financially, and this is my opinion, for them to develop um, their fellow brothers the way that they develop women. I think one individual in particular had indicated that he speaks to women because it's easier to speak to women regarding relationships. And I just want to say that aspect right there. And maybe the whole process or thought process is, if the women change their standards, then men have to step up to that. Um, but to me, it just shows that the woman, even before she steps in the relationship, is doing all the work. And so we're buying these books over and over again. We're listening to these podcasts, and it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, making the statement that I think the singleness of Black women, the singlehoodness, if that's a word, of Black women has become commercialized. And I think it's in other cultures too, because relationship advice, dating advice is a huge industry. It is a very, very, very massive industry. People want to know, generally women, because when these books are written, when these videos are made, when these things are done, it is generally geared towards women. Now, I know I said that women tend to normally are the ones that the videos and things are catered to, but there is one person that, and I'm not going to mention him either because I don't want to end up in his videos. There is one person who does speak to men and call them out, and everybody knows who he is. And so he does speak to men and call them out on, the BS that they do. But generally, what I see is men saying to women, "This is who you need to be," not men saying to men, "This is who you need to be for her, and this is who you need to be for yourself first, so that you can be this for her." And or for him, because I don't want to be biased, but I'm just looking at the generalized, um, the generalized, what do you call it, market, which is somewhat biased in and of itself because the assumption is that all of these relationships are consist of two cisgender individuals, two cisgender straight individuals. So you don't get the dating advice from, and it may be out there and I don't see it, but I'm just talking about these massive platforms when it comes to dating, that are traditionally black, cisgender black men, who may identify as Christian, and they speak things from that perspective that isn't always inclusive. And so my observations, and so that further explain my observations, from when I was looking on Facebook, these are all straight cisgender black women who identify as Christian. So that is why this conversation is geared towards talking about cisgender black women, because that is what I observed. Um, but it is frustrating sometimes to see these industries, and I want everybody to get their bag. Believe me, get your bag. Um, but I also want to see other, I want to see people take off and have millions of followers because they're teaching someone about mental health. I want to see someone have millions of followers because they're teaching their fellow Black women how to be a boss as entrepreneur. You know, those things. How to successfully navigate education and for the lowest cost. Those are the types of bomb ass shit out stuff that I want to see. And I think that it's important that, you know, even though we have our desires, that that we put these other industries on as well. Um, because it's just interesting when I see um so many so many highly educated very very successful Black women who are single, and all of these entities that are pouring into them and that are extracting their dollars because they're paying for books and conferences and things of that nature. It's just geared towards the woman and not towards excuse me, it's geared towards cisgender straight women. Um and not towards if the cisgender straight woman, is dating a cisgender um man, straight man. It's not it's that isn't happening. And the lack of inclusiveness, now that I'm sitting here and I'm talking through this, the lack of inclusiveness in that industry is so interesting because I'm trying to think what queer couple or what queer individual is giving advice, bisexual, lesbian, gay, transgender. If y'all know someone, put it in the comment section so I can follow them on Instagram because I'm trying to see who gives relationships advice on an inclusive spectrum. Because I don't know anyone who openly does it and who is openly inclusive. I don't know anyone that's openly inclusive. So let me know if you know somebody. But this, I don't know. I just would like to see someone tackle, you know, the other perspective, and not make the singleness of Black women, you know, or make the singleness of Black women the only the only thing that we're talking about in the industry, and especially the singleness of cisgender straight Black women, because it's a whole bunch of other us out here. It's another group of us out here who need the aspects of our relationships um to be heard and discussed, and the challenges that we face in our as we progress in finding love, and the rejection and the fears that we deal with as members of the and I say we as members of the LGBTQ plus community. So if y'all know someone who is doing that, let me know. And if not, then I guess I'll just start doing it here on YouTube. All right, everyone. So be sure to follow me on Laquanda's Heart, and I would say this before I end. I think it's it's imperative that we control the narrative. We are consumers. I had stopped being a consumer of, all that information. But another aspect is you either become what you see does not exist, or you go to the people who are producing, the content and say, hey, we want representation in this area as well. And you go from there. So I think those are, good solutions, or good things to add to what is already existing. So now follow me on Instagram at Laquanda's Heart. Be sure to follow my partner Char Thriller on Instagram at Char Thriller and subscribe to his YouTube channels, um, Char Thriller, which are in the description box, as well as thank you to everyone who's been listening to my podcast, Minding Your Purpose podcast, which is on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, or you can visit Laquanda/podcast to listen to our episodes. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on. It's like I'm cutting up on live. Well, I hope you all have a great day. Bye.